Hello, ladies. We are back for
Hello.
another episode of Wicked Fierce Talk. Are we ready?
We're ready.
All right.
We're
So,
ready.
Wicked Fierce Talk is the three women, three stages of life, motherhood, business, and a roller coaster of laugh, lessons, and loud opinions. And we're pretty sure there will be a true crime podcast by the end of this. Well, I think so.
Even more
I'm,
so than usual today.
I'm pretty sure. As we just had our meeting before this, we know there's a couple people on the chopping block. All right. So today's question is topic really is going to be about startup energy versus season strategy and how to hustle. So the first question we're going to tackle is what does hustle look like when you're 25 versus 45? So Nikki, we can't say 45. We can only say 25 versus 30. But Kira, we can say 45, 25 versus 45. And for myself, we'll say 25 to 55. So we have a couple slots here. So let's go ahead with our youngest. Nikki, would you
Oh
like to kick off
gosh.
and tell us what does
Yes.
hustle look like for you at when you started to now?
It is definitely different. So when I first started out, I just left my 9 to 5 and I just had a baby. So it was completely different because not only was I hustling in, okay, I've got to make money now by myself, like in the entrepreneur world, how in the crap am I supposed to do that? And I was also, okay, how do I juggle two kids? So it was a very different hustle because, of course, you're starting a brand new business, but you're also learning about a brand new person in your life
Get that.
and learning them from, I mean, of course, you know what they feel like in your belly, how active they are versus what they are on the outside is obviously totally different. And he was very different than my first child, like extremely different. So he never slept unless it was on me, which my daughter did not ever do that. She has always been, I want to sleep on my own. So that was different and it took a lot of energy. So I just had to adapt. So I was sitting in the rocker. I was on Instagram finding connections and signing up for
Making it
networking
work.
calls.
Her hustle was a rocking chair, ladies.
Yep, that was the hustle then. And the hustle now is balancing a wife with two toddlers in a camper and
That's a whole,
still,
we're gonna have to do a whole topic on just the
On
camping.
the camper.
Yeah.
yeah,
Camper and the
it's
cows,
been
as I
I
say.
could
The
probably
camper and the
write a book.
cows.
Yep, I could probably write a book. But at this point, it's maintaining the business that I've built, but also learning my way around scaling that business.
Hmm.
So it's a different type of hustle. And now that the kids are older, like Monday, it was a perfect day. Seriously, it was my CEO day. I was working on my business, and the kids are outside playing in the sprinkler for like 4 hours. So I was able to sit there and work on my iPad while they played. And I was like playing with them, and then I get back on my iPad, and then it was just a different hustle. It's totally different.
It's different.
100%. I hear you. I think, like I said, kids do take a different avenue when you're in business. I know when I started my business, as I was young, so there was no kids. But boy, when I did have kids, it definitely changed the game a little bit. So I get it, Nikki. That's fabulous. Let's roll into Kira. How about you?
Yeah.
25 looked very, very different because that was actually the year I got pregnant with my daughter, but she was a sweet surprise. And I was hustling. I was in project management. I was actually a remote project manager. So I would go place to place to place and I would audit the people who were managing the
Oh,
property. And
Ooh.
I loved that
Can you
position.
see her being mean? I don't know. What do you imagine, Nikki, with her going, so let's see this? I
Yep.
just
I
don't know if I
could.
see that
I
in you,
could.
Kira. I don't know if I see that in you, Kira.
It shows up when it needs to. You know, they say
Yes.
don't underestimate the kindest people because they're the toughest at the war. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
how it
Yes.
goes. And
That's Kira.
that was me in that era. And I was like, I don't even know how I fell into the role, but I loved it and I loved managing people and being able to actually like, okay, you got to get shit together, you know?
Yeah.
And so my hustle then was very, very different because I was all about the money but I also was all about the fun. Like the money had a very different purpose at that time, where now at 42, I'm like, okay, now the
Now
money's
fun's a little different too.
like, okay, we're investing stuff. We're thinking retirement. We're thinking like,
Yeah.
how are we going to
That's
take care of that
fine. I'm
debt?
staying up till 10
You
o'clock
know?
tonight.
Exactly, exactly. So, I had that in between where I had the mom stuff, and had I started my business when they were little, like you, Nikki, I would have gone nuts. I honestly do not know how you guys did it because for me, I'm a hustler, but I need to focus too. And
Mhm.
to have it pulled in that many directions would have been very, very difficult for me. So
It,
now
it,
they're a little more independent
Yeah,
mhm.
yeah. Yep,
and
totally
I
get
can
it.
hustle my bum off. And I do.
Yeah, I love that. It's so cool to have
Different, definitely tricky
Yeah.
for
different
sure.
perspectives on where everybody was and how you started your business. Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%.
So I'm grateful that I did start a little bit later and that I actually could spend that time in hustling. And I say hustle lightly because there was a time like in the beginning where I like said yes to everything. I accepted every opportunity and I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, this is happening. This is happening. Where now I'm more like, stay still. They're coming to you because you actually have shown your value and
You just
you
wrote a post on
Sphere
this too, didn't you?
of influence.
yeah,
There you go.
yeah.
100%.
So I
Absolutely.
did. Yeah.
Yeah, she just wrote a post about it.
Everybody's wanting to know your version of fun. What's your version of fun? What was your version of fun back then, Nikki, Kira?
Well, it really depended on the day, but most
It
of
depends on the day.
there was a lot of alcohol and a lot
You
of
mean like
sex.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or so Monday,
There was
Tuesday,
a lot of
Wednesday?
alcohol. There was a lot of sex. There was a lot of, running the streets of Orlando, like,
Oh, damn,
and
she
had
went
you told
there.
me, well, it was so funny. Had you told me at that time I was going to marry my husband, I would have been like, what do you mean? Yeah, right. Because I had three boyfriends, including my husband. So, it was a very, very different time for me. I'm a very different person now. And I look back on her fondly because, man, she had a great time.
It was
For
fun.
that.
That's all we're saying is it was fun.
It was fun. It was a good time.
Oh, love it, love it, love it.
Yeah.
Were you ever there, Nikki? Just curious. No, I didn't think so.
She's
She's
like,
just
I don't know
nodding
what
her
that
head.
girl's talking about.
Not her version of fun.
I had a great time.
Well, I don't know. No. Mm-mm.
Nikki's more conservative.
I had a great time. And it was kind of fun because boyfriends number one and two were in Nashville and then my Orlando boyfriend. And I thought, well, maybe I'm gonna move back home. And then I'm
You
here.
keep up with all that. Oh gosh.
It's a lot.
I love it. Love it, love it, love it.
Unexpected.
All right. So I guess it comes down to mine. I obviously started mine young. Mine
Mhm.
was kind of on a, I would say survival. What do they say? It's survival of the fittest. So that's kind of where it was. So I was, went out on my own very young. So 17. So it was shake it. You need to figure out what you needed to do to get through. So what I did is I took opportunities. So I started out as a nanny way back. We're talking 17, 18, went, to Boston by myself. You're on your own, figure it out. So you did. So what I would do is, even though I was working with this family, what happened is I had ended up earning a reputation of being trustworthy, being good at what I was doing, managing things well, even at that age. So then it would kind of be going to manage households. So I would be taking care of, making taking care of the kids, managing different households. So then what would happen is you're obviously in a realm of people that are influential. They were certainly, we're talking Wellesley, Massachusetts and Newton, Massachusetts, where, those are some of your more wealthier areas, I will say. So one person would recommend to the other, to the other, to the other. So that happened all the time. So I would build small businesses on the niches for that. And then I began to see that the pet business was another need because, of course, one led to the other. So then I, had a pet business. So it was little things, when you're young, you're able to do, you don't have kids, you can manage, you don't have a problem working
Mhm.
24/7. And I didn't. I mean, I was young. So I was able, out of survival mode, to kind of keep that business mind, to learn as you go. I was smart. I actually watched these people that I worked for, and I almost saw them as mentors, um, because they were really talented individuals in their work, but they also managed their family and their houses in a way that I wanted to. I grew up seeing a different type of parenting. So for
Yeah.
me, the whole thing was, life changing. I'm sure nanny even had to do with it because if I wasn't a nanny, and not that I was the perfect mom, but I certainly wouldn't have been the mom I am without that experience. So
Mhm.
that was kind of the crust, and then I was able to kind of build on it. Then I didn't need to work as a nanny, and then I had this business or that business, and then I was working on my own. And then when I did have kids, I wouldn't say a break, but I then jumped into running my husband's businesses because now he was out working and I was at home with the kids. So it was
Mhm.
a necessary need to run his businesses, still keeping my little stuff going. But then my little stuff became big, and we moved, and it was rebuilding a whole other life down in the South. So it was then again rebuilding and restructuring. So I had become pretty prone to being able to quickly start a business, know how to do it because I had started so young. It was really difficult with kids because I think you feel like you're on your own, like you have to handle your husband, you have to handle the house, you now have to run his business, and you have to handle the kids that God knows there's no rule books for. And sometimes you just wanted to pull out your damn hair because you feel like you're coming apart at the seams and no one's there to rescue you. So
That was
totally.
me yesterday.
Different.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You feel like you're
Yeah.
on your own and you're supposed to handle it, right?
Yep. Yep.
So that's what you did. So I just kept kind of push play repeating, but as I did, you certainly learn lessons. Like I have been really successful, I have really failed, I have really, face planted, and I have really made impact with probably the biggest companies in the world, one way or the other.
Yeah.
Um, so it's been a journey, and it's been an interesting one, and I'm sure there'll be more ups and downs. But I think those were the things that absolutely made me stronger and made me, push me to the point with w- I have a hard time now not doing anything that I don't have a passion for.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Because if I want to make a difference, if I want to do if I want to work, I can't give 110% unless I know that this is heart and soul, and I am here to make some sort of a difference, whether it's in, how women feel about themselves or how parents feel about themselves. That's my whole goal. It long time ago ended about what other people think, so I could care less. Could care less. It just doesn't matter to me. Making an impact, changing lives, and helping others do. Not that I am a saint, because we all know I can be that little wicked witch that kind of strolls down the street. But that has been my long-term goal, was to kind of make a difference, to do for others that was never done for me. And I think individually, somehow we all do that when we're self-employed. You all strive to see what wasn't given to you, what you had to work really hard to get, what you had to work really hard to do, and make it easier for the next person. So
Yeah.
that's
Yep.
kind of my goal now. I do find myself, as I came into the digital world, knowing that, girl, you are not up to par with this, so get up to par with it. So I've spent 2 years in working on it, and I'm not bad. And then I reached out to other people that I were like Nikki and Kira, where I just don't have the skills and really don't want to acquire them because that's not my niche. So I'm going to keep myself over here where I know I can learn, where I know I'm happy doing this, and I'm going to delegate really what I just don't want to know.
Yeah. I think you actually articulated that really, really well. It's kind of was what I was trying to say is that
Mhm.
at this age now, it's like, hold on, do what you love, be in that stillness. Don't do the things that you don't want to do. And I think
Yeah.
Takes a while to
part,
get there. And I think we all live under such fear of the dollar and the family. And I get it. I so get it. Like I said, that was a lot of my younger world was getting through week by week.
yeah. And I think
I
you just
think
have to
that's
lean into
one,
what you love.
yeah, yeah. I think that's one reason why even just even a year being in business, I'm like, I hate being an executive assistant. I hate being a virtual assistant. And it's not that the roles aren't important, it just did not fit my life.
And
So
when you say
that's
it
where I
doesn't
We're
fit
so
your
pivoted.
life,
opposite
did
in
you
that
mean
way.
with the kids or did
Yeah, because I knew that with my kids being so young and they were also products, I would say products of COVID, but my daughter was born during COVID. My son was born not very long after the COVID thing started quieting down. So there was no going to daycare, there was no doing anything like that. So it wasn't, I had to fit my business around them. So I'm like, if I'm gonna do this, I've got to find something that I can do during the times that I can do it and not be as an executive assistant slash virtual assistant being on call 24/7. And that just wasn't cutting it. It was not doing it for me. I was more aggravated than anything.
I'll tell you, I
well,
think
yeah.
you did executive assistant wrong if you're on call 24/7. Whoever
Yeah.
had you doing that was not
And
taking
that's
care of
where that's one of my things when people reach out to me, kind of like with Rachel when she started developing a course, is it a workshop or a
a
course,
workshop.
whatever
Yeah.
she's doing, that shows you everything about being an executive assistant and virtual assistant before you even get started.
Mhm.
Because I wish I would have had that. I wish that I would have been, okay, don't sign up for somebody that needs this
Right,
because
right, right.
that's not how it works.
Yeah, it's
And
not.
I just had to learn and pivot. So I pivoted to more of the social media, project management, OBM sort
You're
of
good in that
side.
space. You're good in that space. And it's
Yeah.
funny because I think we're actually complete opposites in that way where I like being an executive assistant because I like to be on. I'm like, let
Yeah.
me manage your world. I can do that better than you can. I'm going to tell you how to run your life. And
Well, I
so I
think it
think I'm
also
like,
depends on the client
yeah, it really does.
person.
It has to be alignment. There has to be some alignment because something in
That's
the
the
person
biggest
has to
thing.
resonate.
If you get a gut feeling, go with it.
Hmm.
I cannot
Yeah.
tell you how many
Yep.
times I've done it and learned from it, but I still have coaches coming to, well, I took this because I needed it, but I kind of feel like, and I'm like, that's when you need to run. When I hear the words, I kind of
Yep.
feel like, or I'm not sure, or I'm sure I can make it work. Those are the words to
Mm,
run from. It's not going to work.
it's not going to
It's
work.
Yeah, and that's
it's
why
gonna blow up.
You
I
did good.
quickly found a way to shift and I shifted
Yep,
because it
exactly.
just I knew that I would end up in burnout so quick. It was
Well, that was
And you
smart.
will.
And it's so easy to tell
Well,
client, listen, I mean, here's the truth. If you're being honest with people and you want to have that reputation of being honest as far as your work, especially, I mean, it's a simple thing like, listen, I love you, but it's just not, I don't think we're a great fit.
yeah.
Doesn't need to
yep.
be anything bad. It doesn't need to be anything man. You may have the perfect person for you. I just don't happen to be it. Same thing as a coaching. I am not for everybody. Let's be clear. If you want me to coach you, it's going to be actionable, it's going to be responsibility, and you're going to get lots of love, but lots of direction and lots of not so much love
A
fuzzy
lot of
type.
Tough love.
accountability.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you, listen, you're fucking up. You're not listening to what I'm telling you. This is really, it's important. You can take it or you cannot take it, but it's going to make a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What you do with it is what you do with it.
Well,
So,
Tammy, I think also it comes down to like when you said that you don't care if people don't like you. Well, at Nikki's age, it's so different. And I remember, well, like you do care. You care about the perception.
people see you. Yeah.
Yes. And so I do think like once I hit 40,
That's exactly when. I think it was when I
yeah,
was like late 30s, 40s, when
yeah,
I was
I
like,
hit 40 and it was
the
like,
hell do I care about what she thinks? They're not paying my bills. They're
it
not
was,
even
it
remember
was
me
kind of like, I'm gonna
tomorrow.
die anyway. Like,
Exactly.
yeah,
And
I
But
was
here's
at
the thing.
40.
They
you
are
know
going
what?
to
Like
judge you one way or the other.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's how I feel now. Like everybody that I come in contact with, they either like me or they don't. And
And they're going
it's
to judge you
okay
one way or
because
the other. Who
yeah,
cares?
I don't like everybody. I know that I can't work with everybody. And I can kind of, and we've talked about this before, I can read the room. So,
Yeah.
like with you guys, I know I can take you to the potty with my kids since one of them's potty training or was. And some people you just can't,
Right.
they would get highly offended with that. So you can just kind of read the room of, okay,
This is who I
this
want to
isn't
work
gonna
with.
work.
I
And
don't
usually
want
it's
to
in
work
that
with.
first conversation.
Yeah.
So that's one thing and that kind of leads into one of your topic points, Tammy, is like, what would you have ignored in your first year? That would have been it. Like if you
Ah, that's a great
instantly,
prelude. So why don't we go with that? So
yeah,
the second question is, what business advice do you wish you ignored in your first year? So that was yours.
that was mine. And because I was taught at first, or I mean, of course, we all took courses and programs that weren't all for us. We learned and pivoted that way. Um, so that was one thing I was taught was, okay, if you have a consultation, like keep following up with that person. If I have a consultation with you and we don't jive, I'm not following up with you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to beg to work with somebody that I know in my heart is not going to work.
Agreed.
It's just not.
Agreed. 100%.
Mhm.
And I honestly, I have applications to work with me, and I
Yeah.
don't think that's doesn't
Kira, I
say
think you
anything
do too
about me
now.
except that I'm making sure we're a good fit. I mean, I have an application when I signed up for a writing course. It
Yeah.
was interesting because I am taking John David Mann's writing course. We have a meeting every Tuesday night. This was interesting to me. And so if you ever do an application, put in a question like this. It's almost like a trick question. So he took an application for writers. One of the questions was, who's three of your favorite authors and three of your books? Do you know, he said a majority of people don't fill that out because they don't have one. So how can you write if you
You
can't
don't read.
read a book, or you know the styles of book, or you don't have an author you like, or if you don't have, so that's when his rejections come in. So that's interesting that
Oh,
find that spot where you know you're going to have that question of, if they answer this way, it's just not going to work.
Yeah.
I thought that was
cool.
I thought that was pretty smart.
That is pretty smart. I like that a lot.
So
Yeah.
what's yours, Kira?
So but to answer Nikki's question real quick, yes, I do have an application now to work with me. I put it in place. I put it in place very recently and I love it and I'm keeping it. But my biggest advice that I wish I had not taken, Instagram. So I had a coach basically say, you're going to find all of your clients on Instagram. Spend all of your time on Instagram. You don't need a website. You don't need any Instagram. Spend all of your time on Instagram. And so I spent a good 6 months of time just focusing on Instagram alone, completely all the time on Instagram.
Oh.
Let me tell
You
you
know,
how
I
many
do
clients
think
I find.
Instagram can be a tool,
Yeah.
and I do think maybe, I know a lot of people thinking working on one platform or having one main platform. Like I know a lot of people who do LinkedIn. I do a ton on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
I don't think that's necessarily the answer, and have
It is not
all
the
your
answer, and I will
time
tell you how
devoted
many
to it.
clients
Not.
I've signed on Instagram. 0.
Oh,
0 clients on Instagram. And so when I see these people,
oh,
Instagram's the place that you are going to find your leads. No, the fuck it's not. Okay. I promise you. Yes, it is
At the
great
beginning,
for
that's
visibility.
where I was getting my clients from because here I was told the same thing. Like, no website, no. I was even like, where can I go? Where's the cheapest place? Where's the best quality place to get business cards? You don't need business cards.
Yep.
I handed out
you
3
guys have
business
the same
cards.
coach? Did you guys have the same coach?
It might be
You know,
possible.
it might be possible that we saw the same person. It's the same person who told me to take out a credit card to work with her.
Don't welcome them to any of my parties.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I think it's great for visibility. I still love Instagram. I'm still there.
Branding, visibility. It's great to have your stuff out there. People get a
I'm
video,
it
you got to
for
get
the
a feel for
interaction.
you. Right.
Yeah,
The
that's it.
interaction.
But you have
Now,
to build connection.
yes, I post on all platforms with the exception of TikTok. I'm not a TikToker, but
I'm
that's
not
where I was like, you have to I seriously had a list in my phone of people that I reached out to on Instagram while I was rocking my newborn.
Well, and that's the other thing, you reached out too, so.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
but I also like kept a track of did I engage with their content and did I send them like a follow-up message and stuff like that. But once you do that, you come to find that you've messaged everybody that, I mean, you can't, there's nobody else to message.
So
So that's where
so
I started
Nikki
networking like
messaged everybody
crazy.
on Instagram.
Yes. Well, people that I
Got a
thought would need
message from a
my
Nikki.
VA
Here she is.
services.
I got sick of messaging people on Instagram. I'm like, don't DM me. I'm telling you, I probably have 18 DMs right now on Instagram, but I have not read and I do not care at all.
You need your
I got
VA to
so
do that,
sick of
Kira.
DMs.
Love it. Love it.
I got sick of it.
Oh, my worst advice was somebody, and I wish I could remember who, so I could just send them a nice email thanking them so much, because this
It was
is,
me.
it was you? No. Now, the competition thing and fitting in. So keep up with the competition,
Mm,
fit in, make sure. Come on. Okay, you want to know what your competition is, great. But if you focus on that, guess what you're not focusing on? So
right.
I
Yeah.
remember feeling so much anxiety and trying to be this person and match that person. And oh man, the energy I spent doing that, just such a waste of, and then you almost become, I want to say resentful, and then like almost jealous and resentful, and why am they and me I'm not, and it just is an ugly place to be.
There's no
I
way that you can keep up with
and I
everybody. There
purposely
is no
don't
way.
even pay attention. It's so funny because somebody will be like, "Oh, you're copying me," or "Girl, I don't even know you exist."
That's true. And the thing about the competition is there is no competition because there are a ton of people who are doing the same thing, but
Yeah.
people who are buying from you are buying because of you. They're buying because of who
You,
Yes.
you are.
yeah.
So,
That's
yeah,
what I was
that
gonna
is
say, but
Worst. Worst advice.
that is
Don't
the worst.
waste. I did a good year or two doing that. No, God, I was
yep,
young.
Check the
But
market trends. I don't care about the market trends.
yes, I don't
me
care.
either.
I'm so different than anybody, I think, in my sphere, that there's no doubt you're going to know the difference between, me and them. And you're going to see I don't follow anybody. I don't care, frankly, madam.
No, and it
Oh, Lordy. So
just
that
like with podcasts and stuff, I mean, they are becoming an essential part of engaging with your audience. But honestly, we did this to
we
because we
just did
wanted to
this
have
kind
fun
of by
together.
fluke, I think. I think
I
we
mean,
just did
we just spent 45 minutes before this
yeah.
podcast talking about stuff that does not belong on the podcast.
I'm saying it
So,
because I think it's so helpful, because I think
yeah,
I wish, and I just showed you guys that letter I wrote to myself. Um, but I wish I knew some of this stuff, and having, Nikki at your level with, children, and Kira at your level and myself at my level, hopefully, you know, we can help somebody not go through the same crap we did.
100%.
yes,
That's the
yes,
goal,
That's
right? I mean, to
clearly
make
the
an
goal.
impact. Yeah.
So, and to support the
yes.
people that, we're involved with in our little wicked world, 100%.
Yes.
Mhm.
And so we
Yeah.
have one more. What is the last question? And
Last
we'll
question.
start with Kira this time.
All right.
Do your goals shift with experience, age, and the change of life? Wait a minute. Wait. No, change of life. Let me go back to life's changes.
My goals have continued to shift. I will be completely transparent and say I really like money, you guys. Like I am somebody that likes nice things. I like a luxury cushy life. I have a certain lifestyle and I want to live up to that lifestyle. And so
Mhm.
money is, my goals a lot of times can be very money driven, but as life goes, I'm looking more and more towards abundance instead of, just wealth. And I think that that is a word that it can really be misconstrued because abundance, you immediately think money, but it's not necessarily just money. I want to feel in every aspect of life. I want to wake up in the morning and just feel that abundance like thank you so much for this day, for giving me this life, and to have that energy and to have good rich relationships and to have really good and rich, you know, interactions and to be able to go out and experience things. And so I think my goals have really shifted to having more life experience over, just monetary. But
Mhm.
then again, you have to have the money to have some of those things. So,
Unfortunately.
yeah. So I think I've gotten less greedy over
I
time.
got less greedy.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I've gotten more less greedy and more grateful.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Well, I'm going to go next on that one because you're going to end, Nikki. So, how the goals on my part have shifted with age and changes. I think um, I was so consumed on forcing things to happen, and I spent my life in survival mode. So, I think you almost have a mindset of, I've actually got to make this happen. So you better manipulate, you better figure it out, you
Mhm.
better, I don't know, dance whatever dance you need to do, talk to whoever you need to, manipulate the situation to get it to get done. Um, Gosh, that's so long gone. I find that if you just, I wouldn't say just roll with it, but if you're
Roll
doing
with
your
it.
best, if you're giving 100%,
Mm.
there is never going to be a perfect business without any ups and downs. And that's probably been a huge gift is I have had the ups and downs. I've had some really highs and some really, 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 really bad lows. So I think given all that, I mean, gosh, come on. I mean, I had to also go up against NBC and Apple as a little bitty person. So I think going through stuff like that, you kind of get through it going, huh, can you believe I handled it? And I can probably handle it the next time 10 times easier because
Mhm.
I'd gone through this. So I guess I would say I don't sweat the big stuff anymore. I know one way or the other, it will either work. And if I give it 120% and down the road it doesn't work, at least I tried. There's nothing on the table. There's nothing in my bucket list I haven't done because I don't want to go through life wishing. I don't want to go through life thinking you could have. And the biggest thing for me is I never wanted my kids to feel they couldn't try anything they wanted, and they are.
Yeah.
So for me,
Yeah.
that was the biggest gift.
That's like the entrepreneurial mindset, Tammy, that I think everybody needs to take away from this is try and it's okay to fail because like you said, you've succeeded, you've failed. I mean, as
Failure
entrepreneurs, that's what
part
we
of the journey. It is going to
right.
have, it will be your frenemy. I promise you it will be. It'll
There's
kick
those
you,
ebbs. I say it all
it'll
the time,
spike
ebbs
you
and
up all
flows,
over
ebbs
the
and
floor.
flows.
It'll
Yeah.
leave the room and you'll go, yeah, I probably needed to know that.
Yeah.
So come
The ebbs
back
and
and
flows.
visit
Is
20 years down the road, maybe. But
Mine,
yes, I'm
go
sorry, go ahead.
ahead.
No,
No,
go
go
ahead.
ahead. So mine, I think, is so I've always had the goal of being home with my kids. I purposely got my master's degree, so my goal at the time was to teach college online. That was the only purpose.
Oh, wow.
So I've always had the goal of being at home with my babies, no matter what. So that goal I've succeeded with just in a different
Manner.
space. But now that the kids are fixing to move in a different season of life, they're going to start some sort of school in the fall. And that's going to allow me to hit further goals in my business, which in turn is going to help me hit more like financial goals. And that way, it's going to be a healthy balance of like I get to have the flexibility to be able to go to the kids' stuff at school or go to field trips and be the mommy at home with a sick baby if they can't go to school. But I will also have that flexibility of expanding and scaling my business because I love doing what I do.
Yep.
But
Which is
as
great.
I've said
Yeah, because who
all
knows
the
where
time,
you're
like,
going to be by the time they graduate.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
yeah. And that's what I
Each
always tell
their
people,
own.
listen to the season of life that you're in. Like pivot your business to whatever season you're in
Yeah.
with your kids or your family or whatever is going on in your personal life. That
Not always easy either.
No,
No,
it's
it's
not.
not.
It's
I
not.
don't like change. I hate change. It's always
What are you doing
something.
being an entrepreneur, Nikki?
I know, right?
Yeah, but you know what? You are going to love the change of them going back to school. And not because you don't love your babies, but because you are going to have more time. You're going to get Nikki back. And I know
Yep,
that sounds weird, but at the end of the day, can lose ourselves, in that
a
momness.
thousand percent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we
A
just all talked
thousand
about that before this. We probably should have recorded it, but
Yeah.
maybe not.
Yeah. And so I do think it's going to be so good for you, Nikki.
percent. Yeah.
100%.
And it's going to be good for them too. It's not,
Oh yeah,
they're
I
not going to
agree.
be so bored at home and they're going to enjoy having little friends and getting to do different experiences. And mommy will be there for those experiences because my babies aren't going anywhere without me, kind of thing.
Well, start
And
creating that village,
less is
Nikki, because
more.
that's the biggest gift I gave my kid is start pulling people into their life that you trust and
Yes.
that you're whether it be t-ball or what start
Yeah.
building small little
And
village by
they love
being
doing
around people.
sports. We just finished up soccer and Blakely's done gymnastics and she thoroughly enjoyed having little bitty friends running around and playing and we've built some little friends outside of that we've done play dates with and stuff. So they enjoy it and I want them to live life and enjoy it to the fullest. And on the flip side, I get to enjoy my dream of being home with them, but also having something for me on the flip
Absolutely.
side.
Love it, love it, love it.
Right. I love that.
Amazing. Awesome. So what I also wanted to do as we were kind of going down this topic, as we know, I'm a book addict. So I was going to throw out a book that I read this week that you might enjoy. It's Tim Grahl, Grahhl. It's Running Down a Dream. And you'll find it really interesting. But the one part of it that kind of stuck in my head is when he talked about failure. He talked
Mhm.
about the fact how everybody talks about failure as just they talk about the one failure that led him to the huge success,
Yeah.
but they were never honest about the constant failures and how they felt and what they had to go through because nobody wants to hear it, right?
Yeah.
So that was it's really amazing to me to think that everybody has been through constant failures and it just is a part of life and it's how you handle those failures, what you actually
Mhm.
do with them, what you learn from them or not. But
Hmm.
he is I want to say a book publicist and he's a large one, like all the big names.
Tim
So you might
Graw.
find it as a good read. It's a quick read, Running Down a Dream.
I
So
just wrote it
so
down.
that's a good one to grab. But it was an interesting point. It was kind of like, oh, yeah, you got a point there. So, and I actually will post about failures often because I think people are so afraid to talk about
Mhm.
it. Or if they do, it was the one failure, like he said, that led you to that success. And that's just not always true. They
It's
suck.
not. Sometimes it's just a failure and it
Some
doesn't
little
lead anywhere.
fail, you learn a lesson, you move on. That's
Yeah.
it. But be okay with it.
Sometimes it
And
just
that's
sucks.
actually, you wrote a blog about that as well, and it's on
Oh,
our Wicked Fitness website.
yeah, that's right. I did. Oh,
Yep. So we
yeah. See?
can possibly link it below.
Oh,
Yeah, absolutely.
fabulous ideal, young one. See, my old memory completely forgot I wrote it.
I got you. I
Another
got you.
topic. That's another
Because it was
topic.
really good because you're right. Nobody talks about,
Constant
oh,
failure.
well,
Yeah,
like
all
for
they,
me, I'll admit my workshop series that I'm wrapping up in next month, complete flop,
Yeah.
complete
happens.
flop.
Yeah.
But it happens, and I've learned how to record a workshop. Learned how to
Yes.
edit a workshop. Learned how to set up my workflows to send out the replays for them for people who
Love it.
signed up.
Love it. No,
So
you learned
it
a
wasn't
whole
a complete
series. Yeah.
failure, but
No, I think that's
it
growth.
wasn't the best successful thing I've ever done. So
100% growth. Good job, Nikki. Love it, love it, love it.
Love it.
Well, ladies, I think this was amazing as always. I know
mhm,
it's at least entertaining. If nobody gets any tidbits, it's still entertaining for us. So hey, so
So
again,
fun.
thanks everybody for coming to this Wicked Fierce Talk. And remember, it is the three women, three stages of life: motherhood, business, roller coaster of laughs, lessons, loud opinions, and a true crime podcast by the end. We're just not sure who. We'll keep you informed though. So thank you very much, ladies. And as always, I look forward to seeing you the next time.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.